Welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie. I am an intern counselor at the moment. That means I'm working towards my LPC, my professional counseling license. I have made notes here so that I can stay on track. A lot of the times during my short form videos, which is really what I've been focusing on recently, I will film like 6 to 9 minutes of content, and then I'm able to actually, what's on topic fits within the like 2 to 3 minute length of a short video. So it's just kind of funny. So with this one, I am going to try, number one, to stay on topic. Number two, I'm trying not to do a lot of editing to this. I'm going to try to keep it as it is. Just be me. So, okay, I've done the first thing. I have introduced myself. You might have noticed if you've been watching anything that I've been putting out here on YouTube that I've been talking a lot about my past. And I know that can be, people have different reactions to that. Some people are kind of like, okay, that's interesting, and others maybe relate to it, which is, of course, what I'm hoping for, or they're able to find some sort of reflection of something in themselves that helps them process something. I don't know. That'd be like my biggest hope. But it's also for me. It's also for me to examine my past a little bit, and it's not to dwell on the things that happened. It's to like examine them again to gain more perspective. When we live through something, especially something that's hard, and especially when you have a lot of things that happen over and over, like, when you're collecting difficult things, maybe not on purpose, definitely not on purpose. I'm sorry. Yeah. As a child, so like I was not collecting these weird experiences on purpose. When I became an adult, it became my responsibility to examine the past so that I do not repeat those patterns that cause me anguish or undue anxiety. So it's more about gaining perspective, because when you're in it, sometimes you just have to focus on getting through it, which means you're not able to take the time to see why you might be feeling a certain way, where that's related, if there's a connection somewhere, or other options to do something better next time. Sometimes we don't have the energy for that when we're just trying to make it. And if you're able to find a place of safety, I personally think it's important to look back at these things. They have a way of showing back up once you are in safety, because then your brain needs to think about what happened. Generally, a lot of pain can come from trying to repress that. So this isn't me dwelling, this is me almost clearing out a little bit some of the intensity that lies behind some of these memories. I've already written about them. I've already put them on timelines. I've put them, in my head. I've thought about them a lot. But that's more of like a rumination sort of situation. Whereas at least now I'm able to just piece things together a little bit better. I have been working towards expressing myself, and I personally think that finding ways to verbalize or write or express, draw something with our personal narrative, our story, it's really powerful. I mean, that's my theory base for for counseling, right, is narrative therapy. So I really do think that, a lot of what we learn at first comes from our parents. It seems really obvious, right? But it's one of those things that we kind of, as adults, like to forget because we want agency over our own lives. And it feels really painful sometimes to realize that we didn't have much of that as a child, if any. So, yeah, just all about how we can use our patterns, and not just our patterns, but like our curiosity about our own lives, but also the curiosity about the lives around us, because we're all connected to each other. And the more curious you can be about the people around you, the more perspective you'll gain too on yourself and on how they see themselves. And you may come to find that there's such a variety of people out there, and the way that they think and conceptualize and their like personal theory of mind. There's so much variety out there. And for me, when I started really realizing how much like how many different like thoughts there are out there, how many different like ways to live life that like work, it was really freeing knowing that there were less paths that led to a bad place than I had originally thought or been led to believe. There's a lot of different paths that lead towards the same goal, and it's okay to kind of meander between those different paths sometimes, figuratively. I mean, I don't know. Just kind of with that curiosity, like try some different things out. I just, of course, with the new year, just trying not to be like super stereotypical, but I am on a break right now for school, and I always fill my time whenever I have a break with projects and things like this that I come up with for myself. I've always wanted to continue to add more things to my YouTube channel, but I just haven't had the time, the energy, all of that to focus on it for a little while. So I took a break for a while. But I would like to kind of grow here. I think I like this platform a lot better than other social media platform options. I just think it's easier to show information while also being a real human being with a variety. I am not like definable. I say I'm a mental health channel, and I also like to share my crafts and my interests, which is related to mental health. But I'm not just like a cut and dry, like here's some information about, the stages of change, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the different attachment styles. Like, I think these things are interesting, and I want to do more than that too. So I'll have a variety of content, as you've already seen, including my crafts, which my room is like surrounded right now by yarn. I have to organize my yarn again. I love just finding new projects for myself. Yeah, I feel like I've come a really long way since high school. I know in high school, I think I mentioned before, when you're going through something, it's really hard to do anything but focus on getting through it. And I'm realizing I didn't have that much of a confidence in the identity that I had. And the more I look back, the more I like go back to listen to the music that I was interested in high school. I'm like, whoa, like, okay, I was on point. Like, I'm still this person. My identity was there. I just was not confident in displaying it. I was scared. I had not ever really gotten great feedback. even people in my life who care a lot about me, like my sister would always say that my music was weird or that my clothes were weird, things like that. And I'm like, if that's coming from excuse me, sorry, if that's coming from someone who my whole life I've even said is my role model, then like that's also kind of rough to think about, that the internalization of what, like what that would mean. If my role model is telling me this, then it's more likely that I'm going to pick that up as part of my personal identity, which, like, to be fair, totally have. I think I am weird, and I think that's okay. I've really embraced it. It helps me be more comfortable in the awkward, the more that I've been able to embrace, like, I really just don't think I'm that weird. I think maybe everything together is a lot, but I'm not like that unusual of a person. I think there's a lot of people like me who have suppressed a lot of their interests or the way they want to express themselves or what they want to share with the world. And a lot of the time that's for safety. Totally fair. You have to be in a pretty safe place to be able to step outside of the socially acceptable norms. Just being honest. Sorry, I know I'm like, everyone in my family is sick right now, so probably, I think I've said this before. Okay, so what else do I have on here? I think that's really like all I had on my notes, but yeah, oh yeah, how far I've come. So like I'm still in the middle of the story. I have not taken my ADHD medication yet today. I should be doing that. I should have already done that. Okay, so a big part of my growth journey has been, of course, going to grad school. Something I've always wanted to do, and it's also something I thought I would have to wait until I was like old to go do. I thought it was going to be like a retirement situation where I would be like, you know what, I'm going to retire from whatever job I've been doing for 30 years, and then I'm going to put myself back into school to go do this like dream that I've always wanted to do, because it's really unfeasible to take time off of doing work to go to school, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to handle doing both, because I also have a kid. So I got really lucky, or very privileged, and it did feel like a sign. I don't call myself like religious, but I'm definitely spiritual, and in order to go to grad school at this time, a number of family members had passed away kind of in somewhat quick succession. And so I was able to make this dream a reality a lot sooner than I ever thought possible. Not that I'm not taking out student loans also. So I, in grad school, discovered that I am neurodivergent. I had no idea that was a thing. I didn't have vocabulary for that until I really got into the mental health space and started really exploring that. And come to find out, I had been looking at the like diagnostic stuff, the like the view of autism and ADHD and probably everything right before I went to school was a little off. It wasn't the full picture. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, who has time to dive into that many things if it's not personally within your family or something like that? Then there's really no like reason to be an expert on something. Just have an interest in it. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm like trying not to edit, but like I've been clearing my throat so much, so I apologize for that. Let's see. So, neurodiversity is now one of my favorite things to think about and to study and to like focus towards as a future counselor. There are so many people who are neurodivergent, and I just want to, like, the selfish part of me, I want to experience the range of people and get to know all the different ways that people are. I also want to help people, but like, in order to be a good counselor, it does require a lot of curiosity. So I hope that I'm able to keep that curiosity about, like, I just like learning about people and their backstories, and people are more interesting than they give themselves credit for every single time. I have a really hard time with groups of people, but people one-on-one, I can totally do. In fact, that's like, yeah, that's really where I'm at. I have been doing some group counseling, like co-leading group counseling groups, and that's been wonderful. Also helps with that whole being comfortable in a group situation. Of course, here I'm playing a role. I am in a role, a defined role, and that always helps. I'm not just me, Jessie. I am intern counselor leading a group, and I have, you know, a list of things that I need to go through in order for the group to be successful, and a way that I need to show up for my clients in that group. And I really love it. and like I said, it is good practice, and it's totally different than actually just like being me in a group situation. I've always been uncomfortable in groups, and in general around people. I'm very much an observer. I love to kind of almost be like the fly on the wall. I just want to see what's going on. I want to study it. I want to see the patterns and the stuff like I've already been talking about, and all of these things before, and then be very selective about who I get to know and who I let into my world. I suppose this is also a good practice of being a lot less selective on who I let in. Of course, I have a lot of control over what I'm sharing. So, I don't know. It's good practice, and I still have control. So, I guess that does make a good practice because it's not like super scary. I'm able to test the waters a little bit, which I have totally been doing, actually. It's kind of funny, thinking about doing, of course, like a much longer analysis of my own behavior during all of the stories I shouldn't be telling videos. So I guess I'll save that. I'll try to save my commentary for something like that later. But I definitely have seen myself testing the waters before I dive into tougher topics. Is it safe? I guess I've deemed it to be relatively safe enough to keep trying, keep going. I think that's all I have for today. I really hope that you would like, subscribe, follow, like all these things I'm supposed to say. In case you're curious, this is like a little collection of stuff that I put together that I was using as my outline. Each page is different. I have a video about it. I feel really embarrassed. Not embarrassed. I just feel weird. I feel weird self-promoting. I made this journal, and I'm trying to utilize it, and I think it's cool, and it's for sale. I'm not selling you products. I just like thought I should mention it since it's here. And I am proud that I actually completed a project enough to make it like a real thing. Okay. I shall be back for more later. I'm gonna be sharing more, like I said, an analysis of my behavior throughout my stories I shouldn't tell videos. I'm also curious to do just about my personal relationships, maybe a little bit, not like in detail, but again, patterns and things I've noticed about personal relationships that I've held. And I don't know, now that it's been a couple years since my self-discovery of autism and ADHD, perhaps I will do like a follow-up video of like that whole thing, what that's been like. And okay, yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas or anything you'd like to hear about. Also gonna talk about, what do I have? A video on intersectionality and a video about interest-based nervous systems. And those are gonna be short form. So I'll be working on those later, since, you know, why clean the house when I'm gonna do some laundry. I am going to put away some holiday stuff. And then I'm gonna edit this video. Okay, thank you for hanging with me. I hope you have a great day. Bye.